Alright, today I'm going to be telling you guys about the basic functions of the bike, how to operate it, and what all the buttons do. Alright, the first thing I'm going to tell you guys about is where the brakes are. The first brake down here is for the rear tire, which you push with your foot forward. And the second one up here on the handlebar, you just grab like this, which is the front brake. Moving to this side of the bike, this is where the clutch is. It's on the left handlebar. To pull in the clutch, you pull it in with your hand, and right now it's in neutral, so you go down for first, and then you go up for second, third, fourth, and fifth. Then when you go back to first, there's neutral in between. Now moving up to the handlebars, on the right side, you have your start button and your kill switch. To start it, it needs to be downside in the run, and also your right turn signal is over here, which in this, you can see it's on, as well as the neutral indicator, and turn signal over here is for the left. And holding both of those down will give you your hazard lights. Over here is also your high beam headlights, which is also another indicator up there, as well as your horn. When starting the bike for the first time, this is what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to make sure your kill switch is in the run position, which is down. Make sure your key is in ignition. Make sure down here that your fuel valve is turned down, which means on, as well as pulling out your choke. Now, once you start it the first time, it's probably going to idle pretty high, being cold. And as it gets warm, you're going to gradually push this in until you're able to fully close it, and then you're good to go. This being a carbureted bike, there will be a choke on it, but any fuel-injected bike, you won't have to mess with the choke at all. Once you're actually ready to start the bike, make sure that your neutral indicator is lit up, meaning you're in neutral. Or if you're in gear, make sure you have the clutch depressed. Once everything is in check, then you're ready to give her a start. Getting the bike started, the next step is proper riding gear. This is a jacket. It's basically up to you if you want to wear a jacket. I like to wear it when it's not so hot outside where you're so comfortable wearing it. But most people on hot days don't normally wear one. Next step would be getting a helmet. This is a full face helmet, covers your entire face. Yeah, there's other kinds like this one where it's only the top half. And also, when riding, I would also recommend wearing pants and boots, just so if you do lay it over, you're protected. Thing to consider when buying a helmet is if your bike has a windshield or not. Seeing as mine doesn't, this helmet works perfectly. But on bikes like this one, that has a windshield like this, you can get away with the smaller helmets like these and be perfectly fine. A tip for people that are just starting off riding a bike is to get comfortable with the weight of the bike. Seeing as this bike is fairly small, it's around like 500 some pounds. Pretty easy to control. As compared to a bike like this, full-size bike with a rear seat, it's about like 850 pounds with no one on it. So I would get comfortable with controlling the bike first. A great place for beginners to learn how to ride is an empty school parking lot. This is where I did most of my riding when I was learning. There is hardly anybody there, and it's got normally wide open spaces. And one of the first things I learned there was how to use each brake and how to use it efficiently. When I first started off, my dad was telling me that you want to stay away from the front brake until you get used to it, because it is much more powerful than the rear brake. How to use the rear brake and the front brake in a controlled manner together is possibly one of the most important things you can do when learning how to ride a bike. Let's say you're on the highway and someone doesn't see you and tries to merge. Instead of slamming on the front brake and possibly locking it up, causing you to dump the bike, you will know how to slow down fast enough, and you'll know the limits, and then you won't fall over. Another tip I've learned about riding a motorcycle is when you're shifting gears, make sure you're letting out of the clutch in a slow, even manner, not just dropping the clutch like that. Another thing I like to do is when I'm about to upshift, let's say you're on the throttle right here, let out of the throttle just a little bit or all the way. That makes your shifts a lot smoother and a lot more enjoyable. A couple more tips I'd like to share with you guys is make sure that you know how far you can go on a tank of gas and not get stranded, because getting stranded is never a good idea. Another one is make sure you have your chin strap tightened completely, because this is what mainly holds it on your head. Another one is if you have saddlebags, make sure the buckles are buckled all the way, or else they will flap around in the wind. For those of you that might ride, I hope this information helps you, and it helps you on your way to become a safe rider.